This summer, I traveled to Chicago where I spoke about a fundamentally changing American economy. From an economy that for decades rewarded those who are at the very top and left everyone behind, who just on their own, basically. One that gives working people in this nation not only a fighting chance, they didn't do. You know, we had that trickle-down economy. Not a whole lot. I grew up in we weren't poor, but we had a 3-bedroom split-level house with 4 kids and a grandpa living with us. And I didn't see a whole lot trickle down on my dad's kitchen table. But you know, everybody deserves a shot at building the lives they deserve for their families. And we've done that for the first time in a long time. We've climbed out of our great economic crisis. It's beginning to work for working people. This nation is very rich. And who have benefited the most has been the very rich, though, not everybody. And that's not how it should be. The new economic vision has been labeled by those in the Wall Street Journal and the London Economist and some of the more conservative press as BIDENOMICs. Well, they didn't mean it as a compliment at first, but now they're getting it. What's BIDENOMIcs? It's about investing in, and I feel like I'm going to try not to repeat some of what my colleagues have already said, but it's about investing in America. Investing in America and investing in Americans, American people. It's about growing the economy from the middle out and the bottom up instead of the top down. Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up and the wealthy still do very well. I'm a capitalist. If you guys go out here and you can make $1 billion, go get it. Just pay a little more in taxes. But look, but our friends on the other team, on the other side of the aisle, they have a very different vision for America. And by the way, you have this, I think you have this book on your table, on your chairs, maybe not. I thought did my staff hand this out? You just have a little one. Well, I'm the only president who hands out the opposition's economic plan. Oh, you think I'm kidding? Protecting American economic security, fiscal year 2024, the budget, the study committee of Kevin Hearn, budget, and it goes on. This is the mega budget. You know, I want you to take a look at it. I think we have other copies of it. If we don't, we'll get you some. So since I've come to office, all they've really done is attack me and my economic plan. There hadn't been much else. Even though we've created, as I pointed out, over 13 million jobs, more jobs in 2 years than any president's created in a 4-year term. Even though I'm not looking... Even though we've had 19 straight months of unemployment under 4% for the first time in American history. Even though we have the lowest inflation rate of any major economy in the world, with core inflation rate the last 3 months at 2.4%. We got more to do, even though we've created 800,000 manufacturing jobs and a manufacturing boom we haven't seen in decades. Even though America, as we met here today, is the strongest economy in the world. Let me say that again. America has the strongest economy in the world of all major economics. And all they do is attack it. But, you know, you notice something. For all the time they spend attacking me and my plans, here's what they never do. They never talk about what they want to do. No, think about it. They tell you what they're against. What are they for? It's like they want to keep it a secret. I don't blame them. But today I'm going to talk about their plans. Look, we're going to talk about the MAGA Republican economic plan. And by the way, this is not your father's Republican Party. This is a different, disagree like hell with them, but they were in the deal. They thought the institutions mattered. They thought it mattered. Well, guess what? Our democracy is at risk because I don't think they do think it matters anymore. Because the country should know the facts. They should know the choice between BIDENOMICs and Maganomics. American growth and hope, and we're building for American lost jobs, raising fears. MAGA Republicans gave us a few short years ago. Look, their plan, Maganomics, is more extreme than anything America's ever seen before. Just months ago, they went further than anyone has ever gone, threatening to default on the debt that's over 220 years old. Default, unless we gave them everything they wanted. We gave them nothing they wanted. We gave them nothing when we got a deal. But up to now, Republicans have given us a failed plan, a trickle-down economics that didn't work. My guess is your story is just like mine. Not much trickle-down ended up helping y'all. Instead, there's what trickle-down economics did. It shipped jobs overseas. It's a basic thing. Find the cheapest place in the world for labor, send the jobs there, the product there, and then import the product home. Well, you know, they hollowed out the main streets of America. They did the same for the middle class. They blew up the deficit. It produced an anemic economic growth, if any growth at all. And it stripped us dignity and pride and hope out of a community, one after another. You know, when you have those communities where there's been that factory employing 250 people in a small community for years and years, and then it closes down, you don't just lose the jobs, you lose a sense of belonging. People lose hope. They lose their pride. They lose their sense of pride. And now these MAGA Republicans have taken a plan I've never worked into, and you know, look, the plan they're proposing never worked, but they decided to make it much, much worse. Now Republicans in Congress are doubling down with a plan that does three things. One, it cuts taxes even more for the very wealthy and big corporations. Two, it cuts Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Three, it raises costs for families, gutting investments in the middle class. Under their plan, the top 1%, 1/10 of households that make over $4 million a year are going to get another tax cut worth more than 2 times what the typical American family makes in a single year. Let me say that again. 2 times what the average family makes a year is going to be the tax cut they're proposing to give to the very wealthy. MAGA Republicans in Congress are also trying to undo the progress we made to make it, you know, look, what I was able to do in what they call the G7 among the NATO countries and European countries, I was able to get them to all agree, and then around the world, all the democracies, agree that we were going to have a global minimum tax on corporations, meaning that you couldn't have offering a tax to build or make something in another country that's considerably lower than what the tax would be in that country where in fact it comes from. And that global minimum tax was finally agreed. It took me a better part of a year to get it done. And guess what? They want to get rid of it, let corporations go back to shifting jobs and profits overseas and avoiding paying taxes at home. And who's going to pay for that? Well, now we know, because the MAGA Republican Congress has finally released the budget I just referenced. And the answer is seniors and hardworking Americans are going to pay for it. They don't talk much about, but I got the budget. I mean, literally, it's here. And it's all in black and white. And just for your convenience, I thought I left it. My staff told me they left a copy on your seats, but I guess they didn't. So here's what it does. Their budget gives $5.1 trillion in additional tax cuts skewed to the wealthy people and big corporations, while cutting $700 billion from Social Security. Hear me now? $700 billion from Social Security and $1 trillion from Medicare. Let me say that again. Cut Social Security by $700 billion, and Medicare by $1 trillion. They want to raise the Social Security retirement age, which means a 13% cut in benefits for seniors who retires at the age of 67. Imagine, you work your whole life, every single paycheck you've had, you paid into that system. You thought you'd be able to retire with a little bit of dignity. Our MAGA Republican Congress also want to take Medicare away from more than 1 million Americans with disabilities. Now, if they hadn't done what they've done the last 2 years, you might not believe me. But I promise you, I gave them my word, that's what they're proposing. They want to cut Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act and the Children's Insurance Program by more than half. What does it mean? Under Maganomics, as I'm calling it, tens of millions of Americans could lose their insurance. Waiting lists would skyrocket for seniors who need home or community-based care because they have nowhere else to go. They can't have no family to take care of them.